What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor.
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor.
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor.
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor.
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor.
No way.
Free labor.
No way.
Free labor.
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
What do we want?
Real pay.
What do we want?
Real pay.
What do we want? Free jobs. When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Free jobs.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Free jobs.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Free jobs.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Free jobs.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Free jobs.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Free jobs.
Free jobs. What do we want?
Free jobs.
When do we want them?
Now.
Okay, let's let Grafton Cleaners know what we feel about free labor. Free labor!
No way.
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 What do we want?
Free jobs.
Free labor!
Stand up.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No
Free labor!
No way.
Free
Hey, you
labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want? Real pay! Free labor! What do we want? Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
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 Free labor!
No way.
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 Free labor!
No way. No way. No way. No way.
What do we want?
Real pay.
What do we want?
Real pay.
What do we want?
Real pay.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
Free labor!
No way.
Do you want to say a bit about the? Do you want to speak first or something? Oh, huh? Oh, very good. Yeah.
Well, firstly, thanks very much. Great to see everyone out. We're here picketing at the Grafton Cleaners today because it's a classic example of the exploitation that's in place in the new Pathways to Work scheme, which is essentially JobBridge 2.0. The government has decided to ignore 7 out of 10 recommendations of the first JobBridge report. We think that's unacceptable. In this case, Grafton Cleaners are trying to hire people for grunt work, €3.43 an hour for ironing shirts. That's completely unacceptable. So the message here today is free labour, no way, and we want the government to implement the full 10 recommendations of the report, guarantee proper, decent living wage employed jobs for anyone if they're serious about tackling youth unemployment. We don't want to see people being displaced out of real jobs. We don't want to see people being pushed, the poverty wages being pushed, and as such the government needs to scrap this scheme and start from the start. So thanks very much, and we're delighted to be supporting this protest today. Okay, and you don't think you could pay someone properly for that?
Of course, like I mean, I haven't had a job advertised on Indeed for a presser.
Yeah.
And like I mean, I have one person in now on training, but I got one person.
Okay, but you
And
could
so
hire.
I'm using all the different avenues that are available to me.
You're
to see.
exploiting a government scheme in order
I'm
to.
not exploiting any government scheme. I didn't set
Do you
up
think
the
you're
scheme.
providing someone with relevant work experience to build a proper career outside of this?
If they
As-
want to continue in, say,
Ironing shirts.
laundry, pressing, it's not just ironing shirts. Like I mean, not just making.
That's what's on the advertising.
You start off, like I mean, we do everything from suits, we do cooking things, we do all the uniforms, we do all guest laundry, it's 5-star hotels. So you're not talking about just
That is in your ad description, so you've written it down that is the site sort of front work you're expecting someone to do as opposed to paying them a proper living wage for that sort of work. Are you aware you're displacing a full-time worker by availing of this government scheme?
I'm not displacing anybody because I'm looking for people. I'm looking for people to work, so I'm using every avenue that's available to me, whether it's through the job scheme, whether it's through just advertising in all the jobs.
But it's true it's available to you, it shouldn't be available to you in our
Well,
it
if
should
it
be
shouldn't be available to me, then the people you need to be talking to are around it. They're
Absolutely, but we'll be here and in other locations for employers who are being unscrupulous, who are exploiting the scheme in order to do so.
I'm not exploiting the scheme. That means I'm taking advantage of the scheme and using it.
You're taking advantage of the worker in place who's going to be charged
Well,
€3
that's
or
not
€4
exploiting the scheme.
But why don't you just create an actual paid job? Why don't you just pay them a decent wage?
On Indeed, and I have one person in training at the moment on that, so I will see how that works out. But like,
So why don't you make 2 paid jobs rather than expecting one person to do the same job for
I
free?
only have work for one person at the moment, and some people have the ability to do it.
But if you only have work for one person, why are you taking on an extra person unpaid?
I have one person now at the moment who's in training, and I will see how they work out. And if they don't work out, I think
So they'll, but
Accredited training being done for the person on the WP. What accredited training is being done? So there's no accredited training. Okay, so what accredited training is there? Okay, that is provision 3.
you have to do 20 hours accredited training.
20 years accredited training. And you weren't, when you signed up for the scheme, nobody told you that. Nobody said that is a condition of the scheme.
We'd ask in future you pay a living wage if they're going to be some creating schemes in this manner.
I have all through the lockdown last year, for example, right? I had people in here because we were still looking after, so we were an essential business under level 5 restrictions. So we were open, doing approximately 2-3% of the normal job. And I had people coming in, working 3 days a week, provide that service to some customers that still needed the service, okay? Like hotels that are still open, like that. And I was paying them full wage, right? Sure. They were
And also
working,
probably
they were working
presumably
maybe,
availing of the government scheme as a
they were working 15 hours a week, is what I'm saying, right? So availing of the government scheme, you know, which was quite stupid anyway, was done last year, right? They were working 15 hours a week and I was paying them their normal wage.
But to be clear, the government would have been assisted in
They were subsidising part of it,
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
but not based on somebody working 15 hours a week. You know what I mean? So if you turn around and say, well, someone's only working 15 hours a week, I wasn't turning around saying, well, say their wage prior to that was €12 an hour. Right? I wasn't just paying them €12 an hour for 15 hours. I was paying them as if they were working a full 35 to 40 hours a week.
And that's fair enough, but in fairness, this is a different job you're advertising. This is a new
I know,
circumstance.
because
and
as I
this is a new
said, like
scheme.
at the moment, it is like, I mean, if you go around, you look to talk to anybody in hotels or restaurants, it's very, very difficult to try and find staff now.
Well, we have loads of. I'm president of the Students Union at UCD. We have loads of students who are looking for jobs. They are looking to be paid well for those
I've had a
jobs.
lot of people. I've had a lot of students apply for a job, but this is not a full-time job for the next 2 months, and then a part-time job when somebody goes back to college. This is a full-time job going forward. You know, I'm currently now operating about 35-40% of my business. So I want to build that. As the economy opens again, I'm going to build back up, and I hope get back up to somewhere close to what we were doing before. But that's going to take time. But you know, so, and I've had some people, students who applied on Indeed in the last couple of weeks, and when I can see that they're going back to college in September or whatever it is, and unfortunately that's not good.
And I empathise with that, that isn't an excuse to
No, I'm
take
not saying
somebody
that,
on
but I'm saying I'd be
3 or 4
very straight up with people and say, I'm not going to take somebody on and say, I have full-time work here for 2 months, and then say, oh, no, I don't, and they say, well, I can only do part-time.
But presumably the young person, whoever you're going to be taking in as part of the government scheme, will have the availability to take those hours, and as such you would hire them full-time.
Yeah, but this, look, as I said, the scheme I think is open to people who will be long-term would be long-term employed. I think they have to be released over 6 months. You know?
Or on PUP, on the pandemic unemployment payment. Which is,
There's very few people who are going to come off that role for obvious reasons. You know? And that's why.
What happens at the end of 6 months?
Well, I'll tell you what happened after. Like, I mean, if the person has the identity, they stay on their full-time. We've been in the teachers' fee business 7 years, actually. So it's not.
You're just using it as like a 6 month interview process to see if someone is able to get a job.
No, it's not, because I will be devoting time from the other presses who are here with like 30 years experience. We'll be training them and showing them that.
but how?
Like, this is not, like, I can understand what you're saying, okay, pressing shirts. We have one guest laundry in, for example, from one of the hotels we work with. It's all Balenciaga. You can't just let somebody loose with a iron with, you know, high pressure steam and stuff coming out at something like that, right? Because the next thing will be ruined and you'll end up getting the bill back to your hotel.
But if this is important work, should they be paid €3.43 an hour? That's on top of their job. Sorry, on top of their job, the job seekers allowance. That's 203. The effective rate of this is a full-time job should come out at
They only have to, max they can work is 30 hours a week,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, and then they're getting 300 odd. So, I think
You got 103
on top of the job seeker.
on top of
They would not be receiving. They would be receiving job seekers
but
regardless
if-
of the rate of
it's up to the individual person then whether or not they want to go ahead and do that. Right? I personally, like, I mean, I've got loads of people who, I was fortunate last year, as I said, in Winway, that we were a level 5, we were essential business, because I had something to do every day.
But
There's a lot of people out there that don't have jobs.
if this scheme didn't exist, though, what would you do? You have that work that needs to be done. If this scheme didn't exist,
As I said, I've already taken on one person.
Would you hire
Yeah.
an additional person if the scheme didn't exist?
Yes, if as soon as I'm trying to.
But see, that's the problem.
Anticipation of things opening up. You know?
yeah.
But as I said, when I put it on Indeed, I got, I think, 4 or 5 applicants. I took one girl in for a trial last week. Right? I may bring her back in this Saturday to see.
Yeah.
And I have another girl, like I said, who came in and started yesterday.
But they're on the paid positions.
They are in paid positions.
But so then you'll have one person, 2 people doing similar enough entry level work, one of them getting paid, and one of them not getting paid. Do you not think that's like a awkwardness for the person?
I doubt it's one of the things that the government won't let an employer top.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
You know, and like especially, I don't know exactly what the rate is. I mean, I put on the thing just from the point of view that it's another avenue that maybe they're going to start pushing these people and say, look, here are jobs that are available. Why don't you go for that? All right. I don't know how successful it's going to be. For me, it's another avenue to see can I get somebody.
Yeah.
As I said, I got 4 applicants in on the Indeed post.
But
2 of them were students, which unfortunately is not just going to suit the thing. And I wrote back to them. I said, look, this is a full-time permanent position. It's not just something.
Yeah. But I'm sure I don't think there's anybody out there that is currently long-term unemployed that if it was a paid job that you were paying them €12 an hour that they for 30 hours a week, whatever, that they wouldn't take it, but they will take it if it's an unpaid internship. Do you know what I mean? So if you were creating an actual job.
Why didn't they apply for the position under?
So you had 5 applicants already on Indeed. You had people to fill the job.
Yeah.
So you can get more if you can promote.
I know I paused the ad now at the moment because I have one person in. And
Yeah.
at the moment, like when they said indoor dining and all the rest was going to open up, I expected to see another lift. We haven't seen that.
Yeah.
It's been a very slow take, you know. for whatever reason, good weather, or people just not wanting to dine indoors. I haven't seen that jump that I expected to see. And there are some restaurants and some businesses that I work with that haven't reopened yet.
No, that's fair. Look, we understand it's unpredictable trying to get people in, but if you're hiring anyone at any stage, our fundamental belief is they should be paid at least the minimum wage, if not the living wage, and that's not what would be happening to workers on this scheme.
No, but I think what you need to be doing is you need to go across the list.
Yeah.
Oh, we will be as well, but in fairness, you're not off the hook with it either, like, you know.
Look, I'm not saying that, you know, hey, Liam, how are you? I'm not saying I'm off the hook, and I don't want to be off the hook. But I'm saying, as I said, I think I put the job on Indeed before, it was on Indeed before it was on.
I know it was a separate position, but like,
Yeah.
No, it was for the same position, but it was before that point. And then, as I said, I got 4 applicants, right?
Yeah.
2 of which I brought in, one last week, one was starting yesterday, right? And the other 2 were students. And unfortunately, that wasn't what suited me, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to bring somebody in for 2 months, you know, as you're talking about, it's going to be, oh yeah, I have somebody for 2 months and they go back to college, yeah, you get past. You know, I'm in business maybe 7 years.
that's fair, like, but even in terms of someone that long-term unemployed position, like that's where we're taking issue with the scheme, is that there needs to be that degree.
Top it up, like, I don't know what the actual amount is. I think it's 300.
You'd be on 303 euro total in terms of the actual wage for the work, 343 now.
Yeah, but look, this is typical of government stuff. Like, if you take 303 and they've worked 30 years, right? They're getting basically 10 right?
It works out exactly that, but that's the rate that you receive in job seekers. So the actual value of their work is calculated differently than the overall rate.
How does the government calculate if you have somebody working 5 days and say there's a downturn in business and they put them on the short term? How does the government value those extra days that they pay the people? You know how much they give them?
As in,
Oh, if you're on like X's and O's, you mean the
Yeah, whatever. Like,
casual,
somebody 3 days and the government pays them for the other 2 days. You know how much they give them?
like 40 or something like that, is it?
40 quid. So what I'm saying is the whole thing is flawed. You wouldn't expect me to pay somebody at least, maybe say 10, 15 hours or whatever it is. Okay, I pay up more than that anyway. But they want me to pay that. But as far as a worker's work today, they have to pay them. They're only working 5 an hour.
and that, like, that's not ideal on their part.
No, and it's just like I agree on that, and obviously the key demand that we're making is that JobBridge, this new scheme, shouldn't exist. And some of the things that you're saying, like after JobBridge, the first version of JobBridge, they did a report, and one of the things that the report highlighted was that problem, that employers didn't contribute a penny towards it. They weren't allowed to top it up, and the government ignored that recommendation. So,
They should be allowed to.
yeah.
But as I said, when I put it on Indeed, I was probably one of the biggest job sites.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get any long-term unemployed people applying for this.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the girls that tried last week, she hasn't been unemployed for a while. She was working for a few months earlier this year.
Yeah.
You know, she's eager to get back to work.
Yeah.
But I had 4 applicants.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, it's just another avenue to see. Okay, do I get more applicants from there or whatever it is? You know, it's, you know, I didn't set the scheme up. I didn't. You know what I mean? And I can understand your point of view to say, well, I'm exploited. I'm not. The scheme is there. If I can get somebody in, you know.
If you're the way you're using the scheme is the way the scheme is intended to be used, that's a problem in itself. You know,
But unfortunately,
that's
that's
an issue for us.
one of the rules of the scheme is that it's meant to include 20 hours accredited training, and another is that it's not meant to be displacing a job.
Well, it's not displacing a job. I mean, I had 12 people working here, right? I have 5. So I'm trying to build back up.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is, I'm trying to build it up in advance of any business really.
Yeah, you're getting ready.
Now, hopefully, yeah, getting ready for hopefully. But, you know,
Anyway.
it's a bit of a crystal ball at the moment. Nobody knows what's going on.
And like, we honestly wish you the best of luck in the reopening. Our view is that
Well, I've been open all the way now.
Yep.
Freshers week, they're probably, you know,
I'm not sure we'll agree with you on it.
So I think it's a real problem that the government is trying to cover up for their breaking of the rules by retrospective change. That
want to say a few words, Paul?
All right, thanks a million everyone for coming out. Thanks particularly to UCD-SU. I thought that our engagements there with the manager of Grafton Cleaners was extremely revealing, because it underlined the truth about how the scheme is a free labour scheme. Like he was speaking about the fact that, well, he's taken someone else on in a similar position and he's going to pay them. But the point is that there are two positions that are effectively the same. One of them is going to get paid, and the other one is not going to get paid at all by the employer, and will get $3.43 an hour by the state. So it's very obviously gross exploitation. Something else that was interesting is that he admitted on camera that there is no accredited training as part of this JobBridge scheme. So that's against the terms of the scheme. The scheme says very clearly that there has to be accredited training. I mean, the accredited training is a joke. It's 20 hours out of 720 hours. It's a fig leaf to try and cover up the reality of what the scheme is about by the government. But nonetheless, it's a condition of the scheme. He didn't know that it's a condition of the scheme until we told him. And in fact, he said that he had advertised online. He got it back from the people he advertised from, and they just said, oh, we just need more details. Like an automated form, he put more details and then they accepted the ad. So there is no checking taking place. The government was paying to say this isn't JobBridge, we're going to check these, we'll make sure there's no abuse. But, you know, we have an employer admitting that he's not obeying the terms of the scheme as they currently exist, with all their inadequacies. So I think, again, that illustrates the point. So the bottom line is that the WTEP scheme is JobBridge 2.0. This is a exploitation free labour scheme. If it was, widely introduced, it is bad for all workers. That's a job that would have previously existed, and now it's not a job. It's bad for the other workers who are working in Grafton Cleaners, because if they go to their boss and they say, oh well, we're doing a lot of extra work, we need an increase in our pay, he can say, well, I'm not going to pay you extra to do any extra work when I can simply get someone to work for free. So therefore it's vital that the trade union movement, the student union movement, takes a stand, organises against JobBridge, and fights to, on the one hand, expose employers like this for their abuse of the scheme, but also calls and pressurises the government to scrap the scheme entirely. So this is just the first of the Scambridge protests. We have, there's almost 100 jobs advertised online now, so we have a long list of other very blatant free labour schemes, other ads at the moment, and so we'll be having other protests, other pickets at exploitative employers, as well as exposing them online. So thanks a million, everybody. Free labour! Free labour!